What is that? Like the third time in a month that I've just kind of disappeared out of nowhere for seemingly no reason initially. But like I always say, I'm going to come back. I have to keep putting in the effort. I love this too much to let it go like that. Now, me being about one exercise away from feeling like my shoulder was going to be recovered. I mentioned it last time, if you were here, that I was going to do that front squat day, that back squat day, and then the big bench press day with all the shoulder rehabilitation, feeling great. Now, what do you think happened the day I went to go bench? No, I did not get further injured. Trust me, I've learned. I'm better than that now. I can proudly say that, legitimately. But of course, we get sick. The moment I got to work, I felt that tickle in my throat, and I was like, it's over. You already know what's going to happen. The moment you feel that little tickle, you start swallowing a little bit uncontrollably, and it's like, oh, damn it. You already know you're getting sick. I immediately started downing Dayquil, but it was too late. It took over my body so fast. By the end of the shift, I was having temperature fluctuations. I was convulsing. It was pretty fucking bad. Let me tell you what. Not the flu, thank God, because at the hospital, that is a whole issue. They're going to call everybody and their mother over like it's COVID again. It was just a really bad sinus infection, which is way better because I was only sick for about a day. But here's the really unfortunate part about a sinus infection. If you haven't had one, let me just tell you how it goes. That first day, you realize you're sick and you're like, damn it, it's over, we're screwed. When I woke up after that shift, knowing that I was probably getting sick but wasn't sure yet, I woke up with 102 fever. Yeah, it was over. There was no chance in this world that I was going to be able to go back to work that night. So had to call out, which sucked. Couldn't go back to the gym and do bench, which sucked. I really wanted to bench. However, it's okay, because what happened was I had that first day of I was fully bedridden, couldn't physically move a muscle. I was exploding out of my sinuses. My fever was literally tanking my health by the second, but within 24 hours, thankfully, the fever had broken. I got people at the house that also are in nursing school, so of course I had to self-isolate. That really sucks. Staring at the wall for 3 days, not fun, because the 2 days after that, you hear that? That's the mucus coming back to get me. 2 days after that, I had to continue self-isolating. My fever did break, but you have to be 24 hours without a fever to be labeled as non-contagious. And I was still coughing, sneezing, exploding out of my sinuses, so I didn't want to get any germs all over the house just as a potential, because you never know. And then the day after that, even though you are no longer sick and you should feel a good bit better, the sinus explosioning is still going to continue happening. Explosioning. It's going to continue happening for days. It's still happening now, but I feel physically and mentally apt enough to do stuff. And they also called me back into work, and I wasn't contagious anymore, so I had to do something anyway. So it sucks. It's not what I wanted, but honestly, when you look at it from a different point of view, it's probably some good rest on my shoulder needed either way, because when it comes to, it is the rotator cuff, I'll tell you that. I tried to do a rear delt focused strength exercise today, and I didn't even bother getting too hard into it because, it was hitting my rear delt like it was supposed to, but I don't have a rear delt injury specifically. My rear delt's fine. It's the rotator cuff on my rear delt that's hurt, It's got that little pinch. I don't know if it's nerve, I don't know if it's ligament, just whatever, but they're very small strands of muscle that control just about all the mobility and power in your shoulder. So you kind of have to just chill out and accept that you're going to have to just not have as much fun for a little while. That's fine. That is completely fine. Let me tell you what, we've still made progress. Now, sure, little ego me, having high hopes and all, was like, oh, surely we're going to come to the gym today and do a 225 snatch and a 275 clean and jerk, because today I wanted to just do Olympic lifting to really test the shoulder, see where I'm at, get a good idea of what to work on. And now, the little twinge is still there. It's definitely less and definitely more confident. That's amazing. That's awesome. But it's still there. Can't ignore it. Did my warm-up weights fine. The technique looks pretty superb. The only things I want to really work on, because honestly, the reps weren't that great today, because I just mentally wasn't as locked in as I wanted to be, but I did lock in well enough to enjoy the workout, give myself that credibility, and put in some decent effort. On snatch, I do really want to take an effort to work on my technique next time, because I narrowed my grip a little bit ago, as I talked to you guys about, and my catch position is way better. But because of the more narrow grip, I now have to have a different starting position to adhere to that. And I think my shoulders are maybe a little bit too far back, so I think it might be good for me to lean just slightly forward over the bar to get my shoulders fully lined up with my forearms and my hands holding the barbell itself. And then I think it'll have a much easier path of motion, because right now it's all good, but just that it's just honestly a little too powerful in the third pull, which is awesome. I need that power, and it's going to continue to be there, but I still need to make it to where that initial first and second pull go into the third pull effortlessly, so that I can whip it as hard as I want and catch it perfectly. I can't be winging it so hard that it flies behind my head. And if you've seen it already, I failed one rep at 165, not because it was too heavy or anything, but I literally just threw it behind my head. And again, I wasn't really locked in for it, whatever, but felt fine. I'll work on that next time. Clean and jerk honestly felt amazing. The form has never been better. I've been doing really, really good about getting my front rack position better and my catch position more confident. 205 was definitely ugly because, again, I just did it without thinking, but relocked it back in. 225 looked pretty good. I bent my core a little bit on the dip and drive, but it wasn't bad. My form made up for it. It's not things that I'm worried about. It was a great effort day, and to be quite frank, I was able to Olympic lift, which is a big step. Last week, I was not wanting to touch any Olympic lifting because I just didn't want to stress it any more than it already was. So I needed that little break to get back into it. So I think what I'm going to try to do for a little bit is I'm going to continue doing just like the basic warm-ups, like one plate on snatch and then 185 on clean and jerk, to just get the technique really warmed into it, just really feel it out, get some, and really feel the weight as well, just enough weight to make it feel like I'm actually pulling something. And then other than that, it's going to be the same kind of lifting I was doing last week, where I'll just alternate between bench, squat, and front squat. I'll probably bench tomorrow since I didn't get to do it last week. And I genuinely really just want to see where it is. Physically, all in all, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to add it at the end. The camera angle wasn't great. I saw it after, but it's whatever. I want you guys to see the effort that I'm putting in either way, so I'm not really that butthurt about it. But I still did the shoulder, the rotator cuff exercises, and they're putting in really good effort. They feel really, really good, and I think that's going to be the biggest key to my recovery, is just really strengthening that, because the rear delt isolated strength exercise with the barbell, I don't need my rear delt to be stronger. I need the rotator cuff part of my rear delt to be stronger. So that's what I want to really focus on. So doing that and getting all my Olympic lifts down today, I'm still happy. I spent nearly a week sick. Normally come back feeling super awful, not physically apt at all. I haven't been able to Olympic lift in over a week. It's just been back and forth. So I'm really happy that the effort was at least there. So physically, I can still give it a pretty decent 7.85. It's a decent day. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't, I did what I expected myself to be able to do, but I still was happy with that kind of effort. It's what I needed to be able to feel to get to that next step for my growth. And again, who knows? I might wake up tomorrow and feel twice as good from just getting my shoulder reworked into it. It might not be injured anymore. I don't know, but I have to be slow and I have to take my time. That's why I want to continue doing just the warm-up weights on Olympic lifts before I do my big lifts of the day. Mentally, let me be real. Yesterday was really rough, especially. Let me talk about it first. Yesterday was really, really rough because not that I was like being self-deprecative, but I had to self-isolate for nearly 4 days, which is never great. You stare at a wall long enough, and when you're sick, you can't really do anything, even though you want a game or you want to do something fun. You can't leave the house. I don't want to just sit there and game all day. It's not like productive. I like earning my fun stuff, I like feeling like I did everything that I wanted to do in the day, productive-wise, that I'm passionate about, and then I can go fuck around, have fun, do whatever I want for the rest of the night, That just was not how it was today. Or yesterday, sorry. But I was in my head a lot. You spend so long caring about something, and you put so much effort into it, more than anybody would ever ask you to do, because I love it. And I want to put that kind of effort in my life, that when when you're stripped away from it, you have to take that time off. It's just, it comes back to get you sometimes, it's really hard to not obsess, and I did pretty good based off of my past experiences with this. I'm still getting better with being able to deal with that type of stuff, but it's never going to be great. Make sure you're calling people, doing whatever you can to make yourself feel like you're having a good time. Like, I started reading some more. That was really nice. But the biggest thing was, after I recovered and I could go back to work, hadn't gone to the gym yet. This is yesterday. Man, I was just bummed out when I got to work. I honestly, it was one of those days where, not that I doubted what I've done, but, when you get to a certain mental state, you'll sit there and be like, is this what I want? Is this present daily life what I want to keep living? Do I need to change it up? Is this worth doing it? Because these 12-hour night shifts are really hard. They're really hard. My girlfriend and I are on opposite schedules half the time. It's not fun. I love the job, and I love the experience and the passion that it gives me, and I love that I can keep going to the gym as well on top of that and see the normal homies, but it's hard. It's really hard, and I'm not saying that to complain. I'm saying that to just be real, and I don't want to lie to myself and think that it's just like, oh, no, you're being a bitch, get over it, just do it. I get that. I say that at the gym a lot, but it comes from a passion point. When you really sit down to think about it, it's like, do you really feel good about what you're doing? And you always have to give it that effort in the moment. I say that every time. No matter how bad you feel on those worst of worst days, you have to just give it your best effort, because you're not going to know until you get through the end of that shift. If you just give up on that impulsive, irrational first thought, then you're never going to be able to succeed at anything you're passionate in. So I decided this is going to be one of the best shifts I'm going to try to put my effort into. And let me tell you, I worked like a dog. I did good. It was one of the hardest shifts I ever ran, mostly because of how much effort I was trying to put in. And I'm proud. It was hard, and I ran through the mud. Just nonstop. I was on my feet for 12 straight hours. I didn't stop once. And I'm proud of that. It makes you remember who you are when you push yourself to that limit again. That's why I always allow myself to push to maximum intensity, no matter what the weight is. I'm not going to worry about going heavy. That effort that you allow yourself to go to, that you have to go to feel like you earned that in the moment feeling. That's what it means to be alive. That's what it means to take back what you want to achieve, And I got, especially, I'm going to keep it ambiguous, but the person I was working under, I got no appreciation. In fact, they were giving me attitude, man, all night. And I hate it, because that's messed up. And it makes you think that a lot of times people will sit there and be like, you work too hard. That's too much work for how much you get paid. And I don't give a damn about that mindset. I don't care if I'm working like I'm making $45 an hour, barely making 15. I could care less, because that's not a money thing. That's a passion thing. That's my heart and soul behind the things that I want to pursue in my life. I don't care if it's where I'm not going to end up in the future, or I don't know what the clearest plan is right now. I put myself in this situation. I chose to be here. So I'm going to give it the at very fucking least best effort I could ever muster to give it. And I'm going to complain, I'm going to bitch and moan all I want. But by the end of it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to say it was worth it. That was what I needed. That's what I needed to get out of my rut. That's what I needed to remind myself of that passion that I've always had, that I've never doubted, even if I question it sometimes and it just makes me feel like maybe something different needs to happen, some new passions. That doesn't mean you need to throw away what you're doing right now. You can start doing new stuff, absolutely. Try everything. But don't give up on what you've worked so hard for just because you got dragged through the mud for a night. It was a really hard shift, and I'm going to give myself that. But I made it that hard shift. Nobody else did. I could have just relaxed and not given two shits about what happened to anybody on that unit and just did my thing. And I still would have got paid, and I still would have had my job. But that's not the life I'm living. I'm living the best life that I give myself. Not my employer, not my highest weights that I've lifted. I give myself the right, the want to continue on, to make this life the best version that it can be. That is what is so important to me. So I don't care that I'm a little sniffly. I don't care that I'm a little out of it physically. I don't care that I can't throw the things that I've been throwing for months. It's going to come back. I'm not worried about that. As long as I keep putting in the effort and the consistency, it will come back. It will recover. It's being patient. It always does. There's no reason to doubt it now. I can sit there and get a little irrational in the moment. That happens. That's what you got to do. You got to express that. But I'm never, ever going to question whether or not I can do it to the best of my ability. Because that's a given. And when you're 100%, when you're personalized 100% is the standard, life just keeps giving that good karma back to you. So it comes back, and I love it. And when you see me sometime soon, I don't know when, there's no expectation, there's no time mark, but it's going to happen. When I'm throwing my big heavy weights again, I'm going to look at you guys and I'm going to say, look at that. Well, would you look at that? Damn it. Anyway, that's about all I got. So, beyond all that, mentally, it's been hard, but the passion's always going to be thriving. That's what's important. I can still give it a really solid 8.5, It wasn't the best it's been, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to myself and tell you guys that I'm great just because I have a good mindset about it. I'm still very, very tired, but I'm going to give it my 100% every day. I don't care if it's not the 100% that someone else wanted, because it's mine and no one else's. And I earned that 100% of my own abilities. Hey, there you go. I had to get that out. I have been through it this past week. And funny enough, I'm not going to be back tomorrow. I know you guys are seeing this on Valentine's Day, but I upload these a day late. It's going to be Valentine's Day for me tomorrow. So I am going to give my little Pookie Bear, my GF, my person, a little day to ourselves. And again, I do also want to see what happens to my shoulder after doing Olympic lifting again. It might feel better, it might feel worse. So it might be a good time to take a little break off and then just continue doing the rotator cuff exercises. So I will be back day after tomorrow, 100%. We'll get back on a normal program scheme where I'm doing the warm-ups every day with either a heavy back squat, front squat, bench press. I don't care. It'll be something cool. I'll probably start doing more variations again, like I'm used to doing. I'll do one day of normal bench press since I haven't been able to get back on it yet, and then I'll start doing the fun variations that I do on my recovery week, just to have some fun with it. Because quite frankly, when you get injured, if you can still do certain lifts, I just treat it as a time where I can just fuck around, I can just have fun, just do whatever I want, as long as my physical body and my technique are the first priorities. Let the ego take over after that, Do whatever you want, have fun, throw the heavy stuff, and then when you get back to it, then you put in the good work. Then you put in the efficient work that gets you to your peak, But I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to enjoy every second of it, have fun, love it, move on. Thanks for hearing me yap about, I got to get this shit out. Let me know how y'all's lives and listening going. And I'll be back. Love you guys. Bye.